Hello everybody and welcome back to Season 33 of the Pokemon Cup series. Today we're here at Watkins Glen International for the running of the Go Bowling at the Glen. Starting on the pole today we have the 92 of Johnny Gardner, and on the outside will be the 37 of John Mendez. In row 2 we have Billy Bishop and Steve Morgan, who won a very controversial race at Kentucky last weekend, and we'll get to that later. Justin Roberts and Robert Smith will be row 3. Roger Ray and Alex Hawkins in row 4. And Jonathan Wong Diego Yepes will be rounding out the top 10 in row 5. So about that controversial race at Kentucky, it was a complete mess. I mean, it was a wreck fest. The first caution, the leaders didn't slow down enough for some reason, and they crashed onto the cars that wrecked onto that first caution. And only very few cars survived. And in the end, at the end of the race, there was a caution that came out before the white flag. However, the cars were still going full speed on the very last lap of the race, and they didn't reach the pace car until near the start-finish line, and they went past it. So I didn't know if I was going to get an overtime attempt, or I would consider it, but I do know because the caution came out before the white flag, there should have been an overtime attempt. But because they were going top speed and not slowing down behind the pace car on the last lap of the race, as normal, I just couldn't just stop it. I just couldn't have that overtime attempt because, I don't know if they would scored it. I don't know if they would have ended under caution under that circumstance. So Steve Morgan was declared the race winner, but we did run a 2-lap overtime anyway, and so regardless of what happens, Steve Morgan is locked in the playoffs. I believe that this is his second win of the season. I looked back on it, and he won 2 races, so he got in by 2 race wins. And even though points won't be counted towards the Kentucky race into the standings, Steve Morgan's win will count him towards the playoffs, and he's got 2 wins this season now, so he's locked in. And Colin Francis is also locked in the playoffs regardless. We had that 2-lap overtime finish. What if scenario? It didn't count towards the result. So the one that had was Steve Morgan the winner. That was the final result. But we did have the 2-lap overtime to see what would have happened. And Colin Francis won that battle. So he will be locked into the playoffs as well, regardless of what happens in our races before the regular season ends, even if Francis doesn't get another win. So to compensate for this weird, bizarre finish at Kentucky, we will be adding 2 more drivers into the playoffs regardless of what happens. So that means there will now be 18 drivers. There were supposed to be 16 normally this season, but because of Kentucky, we will be adding 2 more drivers to the foray of the playoffs with a total of 18. 18 drivers, almost half the driver field, will be playoff drivers come after the Montegi. So after the Montegi race, the regular season finale, we will have 18 drivers to determine 18 drivers, I should say, to be in the playoffs, to be running in the playoff field. The eliminations, I've decided they're going to be the same, except that the first round of the playoffs, first 3 races there, will eliminate 6 drivers and not 8 and 6 drivers instead of 4. So usually 4 drivers are eliminated after a round. The first round, because there's now 18 drivers in the playoffs instead of 16, 6 drivers will be eliminated from the first round. That way we get it back to normal in round 2, where we would have 12, have another 4 eliminated as normal, down to 8, and another 4 eliminated, and we'd be down to 4 for the championship at St. Joltis. So the only change into this season, because of the controversial Kentucky race, is that 2 more drivers are in the playoffs. 18 drivers there will be to compete for the playoffs. After the first round, 6 drivers are eliminated, so we go back to the normal playoff system where we eliminate 4 drivers every 3 races. It would be down to 12, then 8, then 4. Hope you guys were very clear on that. And we're going to get back to green, and hopefully it won't be such a confusing mess as it was in Kentucky before. Here we go. The goal bowling at the Glen is green. Oh, Johnny Garner aced that start of the race. Up to the lead now. Steve Morgan trying to win back-to-back. That would give him 3 wins this season. And now the field is even bigger. Like I said, the playoff field will now be 18 drivers instead of 16. So that means 2 more drivers could potentially lock his or her spot in the playoffs in this race. But we still got World Tour. We got 1 more race coming up after this, and then we will have All-Star Weekend, and then World Tour 33 begins. It's going to be fun because they'll be around the world on ovals and 1 road course. That's always going to be an exciting time. And the first lap goes to Gardner. Last season we had like a wreck every lap, but this season it appears it's a lot different and much more calmer than it was before. I'm just glad that they didn't wreck on the very first lap and then continue to wreck thereon, because if it happened like that again, this would have been a mess. So Johnny Garner is leading the pack here in this race. All of them going real straight because I had to put the line modifier back in for this season. I usually take out the line modifier in the I in each track to make things exciting so they can use different lanes, but in this one I had to put it in there because I couldn't risk having the race just be like last year, in which they were wrecking. They were wrecking all around, and that wasn't great. That was not great racing at all last season. So I'm glad this drastically improved from that, and hopefully we can get a lot more green flag runs in this race. Well, just look at John Mendez gonna go for the lead over Gardner. But Johnny Garner, he is an expert. He has won 2 titles in the Cup Series, and he's not giving up until he wins that 3rd title. Both Mendez and Gardner. Mendez was a former regular season champion. Garner was a 2-time Cup Series champion. So we got 2 of the best drivers in the series battling it out. And by the way, Steve Morgan, who's 3rd place, actually won here at the Glen for his first Cup win a couple seasons back. So he too has major experience at the Glen. So it's real fitting to see all these 3 drivers battling for the win at Watkins Glen International. Look at Mendez. He's not giving up. He's going to try again. Look at Mendez. He's going to try again. He's going to keep trying until he gets it right. Maybe he'll get him on this corner. Still evenly matched into the short chute. This is, by the way, the series' only 2nd road course race of the season. And they won't be running another road course after this until, I believe, Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. You just got to admire that John Mendez is really trying his hardest, trying to get by Garner in some form or another. But Garner, he's the master of this course, and he knows well. Uh-oh, look at Steve Morgan. Look at him go down to the low line. Steve Morgan's trying to get by John Mendez. Maybe he'll get him right here. Yes, he will. Morgan is going to be now 2nd. So Steve Morgan is now 2nd over John Mendez. He just went by him for that position. In 4th place, Billy Bishop is in the 6th, and 5th place is Robert Smith. Surprising. This is a complete turnaround from last season's race after having many cautions. This one, I'm glad this went caution free so far. Look at Johnny Garner build up a lead. He's doing the best he can to build up a huge lead now. All of them are trying their best to make their passes. Just have to wait and see if they work. We saw how passing was possible early on, but these guys aren't really close enough to make a move. Nice views of the track all around, by the way. This is an amazing version of the Glen. It's the most recent one that came out for Entertown 3. And they did a great job on it. And the racing is also pretty fine. It's what you would expect the Glen at a road course. There you see all the cars whizzing by. All 40 cars are still on track, so it's really nice to see every car still running for position. How about the 13 going by 31? He gets him. An aggressive move by Watkins pays off, and he is now up to 7th. Here comes Jonathan Wong, gonna go try past Bouchard. The 34 of Daniel Bouchard, he clears the 34 and moves up to the top 10. Oh, Steve Morgan has caught up with Gardner. I wonder when he's going to try to pass him. Oh, looked like he was trying to force Gardner up high. He was trying to force him in the grass. He's going to try again. He's going to look low and possibly try to get this lead away. Here they come to the corner. Might have to try to get this 92 in the corner, and they're going to pit. And looks like they're coming down for pit stops under green. Seems that Yepes, though, is going to stay out. Handful of cars going to take a chance. Most cars have decided to come to pit road, but the others have decided to take a little bit of chances. Nothing really much to lose. Yepes is now leading the race. But meanwhile, the rest of the field comes down pit road. Who will be out first? Everyone getting their new tires and fuel on. It looks like they may have to take one more pit stop during this race, so we'll see how that will factor in. And Garner's out first. How about that? Johnny Garner still out first. And look at Roger Ray. He's moved up to third. He's moved up to third off pit road. What an impressive run. It looks like Yepes will be coming down on this lap. So will Don Duthit. Try to go an extra lap to possibly make it to the very end. And it looks like they may have to pit one more again. So everyone's going to have to take maybe one more pit stop in this race. We'll see if the 92 can catch up to these guys. Because we've seen drivers come off pit road and still have the race lead. Here we go. Tires and fuel are going to be on. It's going to be a battle here for that lead. So now there you see them coming down pit road right now. And 31 is out. Here comes Gardner. And Johnny Gardner gets by. And he retakes the lead from Yepes. See if he'll get second here. No. Morgan is going to get second. Ooh. Close call here between the 6 and 43. Real close. Real close. And the 6 made it through. Obviously with the 43 being slightly slower because he just came off pit road. Yeah. Close call there. Well, we did have one lead change in this race. At least we did have a lead change in some form. But Johnny Gardner is back in front and has an even bigger lead than he had before. The lead is over a second now. The 92's lead is over a second. And let's see if Ray gets third place. Yes, he will. He got third place. As the 31 is still trying to warm up his tires. And Ray gets the advantage in third. So Johnny Gardner leads this race, and well, a couple seasons back, he said that was going to be his last season. He came back, and then he came back again after saying that this was going to be his last season and all that stuff. And apparently it looks like he's not going to give up until he wins that championship. Definitely. So Johnny Gardner is going to try everything he can to get that third championship and be a legend in this series. Well, he's already one of them with those 2 championships for sure, but he wants to win the third title. If he continues to win, if he wins, he might have a chance to do that. This is his best chance possibly to get his hands on that title, third title. And look at John Mendez move up. What a move. Third place he's now up to. So John Mendez is John Mendez is in third. And Johnny Gardner is still trying, with 10 to go, trying to hold off the hungry pack behind him. So far, caution-free at the Glen, and that's real nice to see. It's really a thrill to see a caution-free race after last season's race at Watkins Glen was filled with cautions and wrecks galore. The other 2 races were really exciting as well. They had last lap passes for the win. The truck race that came down to overtime, and the X Series race came down the final lap. But we'll see how this race will turn out. Johnny Gardner, his lead extends to about a second and a half. Almost a second and a half. Look at all these cars coming together. It's just so odd, but there's Steve Morgan, who has won before at Watkins Glen. He actually got his first Pokemon Cup Series win here at this track. Back when he was riding the 83. And he's using that experience to his advantage. He's running second, hoping to take advantage of if Gardner ever makes a mistake, he might just try to pounce on it. All he could do now is hope for either a caution or Johnny Gardner just screws up. If there is a caution, things would be a little bit more different. And it's going to set up a duel. John Mendez runs third. He was a former regular season champion. Has yet to win a race this season, but in third place, he might contend for that. Now Diego Yepes wants to get fourth from Roger Ray, and he will. And Roger Ray might have another great finish in his hands, as he is a 3-time winner this season in that 32 car. The luck of the 32 has been on his side. The Matt DiBenedetto machine and Hurricane Heist. It has been on his side. He has been taking the world by storm. And if you look carefully in the rear of his car, it says unstoppable. And that's what Roger Ray has been in the past couple races this season. He's been unstoppable by winning 3 races. He's going to come down pit road again. But this is probably make sure he makes it on tires and fuel, and I'm sure these guys are going to pit earlier than expected because they're going to try to stretch it out till the very end. They're going to use pit strategy here to go out in front and hope for the best. And a caution comes out, though, and may or may not help them out. It depends if these guys decide to pit as well. Might have to come down a little early just to ensure that they are having the freshest tires and most fuel possible to make it to the end. Because this is a big road course, so it's going to take a lot of effort to make it through the end. So now 5th is Billy Bishop, and 4th is Diego Yepes. Yepes has a win, I might add, so we'll see if he can get a second here today. More pit stops, here we go. They're going to come down. Leaders come down for their final stop of the race. And of course, Yepes stays out for another lap, hoping to stretch it out and hope for a caution. Well, he's got to hope for a yellow flag in order to stretch a little bit of that fuel he has left. This is going to be real interesting. There's Angel Olvera going out in front. Olvera takes the position from Rowe. That could be an important one later on. Some of the guys that pitted earlier in the race. And let's see who's going to be out first. It looks like it's going to be Gardner. And by a long shot. Wow, by a long wide margin. Gardner's out first. So consistent. Oh, Roger Ray might have trouble passing the 6. And he does. Here comes the rest of the pack, though. Gonna come down pit road again. And that's the last of them. So Johnny Gardner might catch up to them unless a caution is pulled. Here they come on pit road now, so we're gonna keep our eyes open. Here we go. They're going to come out, and this is going to be interesting. Is Yepes going to keep that lead? Here we go. He might actually keep the lead. Yes, he will. Diego Yepes leads. What a strategy. What a move. Yepes leading again with 5 laps to go. What a shocker. Sure looked like this was going to be a Johnny Gardner race, but Diego Yepes, he played the pit strategy game right. Now he's just got to hope that Johnny Gardner doesn't catch up to him. Look at Gardner running on those fresher tires. He's going to try to get by Duthit. He's got second now, and so now the 92 wants the 31. I'm sure 31 might lead for a few more laps, but I'm not sure if he's going to be able to have enough to hold on against Johnny Gardner, who's running on fresher tires. And like I said, Yepes' tires need a little bit more time to warm up. 4 laps to go, and now he's got to hope for a yellow flag and possibly continue to lead that race. And he can hold off against Gardner that way. A little loose for Gardner. But he really wants that win. He really wants to get the 31. Might have to wait until after the curves, though, because usually they don't get a good run on these corners. And they're pretty much even. Here comes Gardner for the lead. He wants to win. He's been dominant all day, and he really wants to win this thing. Can he outbrake him on this corner? Went a little too high there. He's still going to try to pass 31. Yes, he gets him. Got him. 3 to go. Some drama here at the Glen, and Gardner gets by him. Finally, Johnny Gardner is back in front. And well deserved as well. He's been dominant all day. it was able to get by Yepes and a much faster and more warmer tires, I should say. So I guess pitting a lap later did not pay off Yepes, but you never know though. Yepes could be fighting back. He might have a chance. Still very close. Anything can happen. Yepes could be back in front. We don't know. That's why this race has gotten so exciting. There might be a caution as well, and that would make things even more interesting. Oh, would that be a lot of mischief? Just 2 more laps around the Glen. And he's hoping that a caution doesn't come out now because he has built up nearly a half-second lead. So Johnny Garner's got to hope that a caution doesn't come out right now. There hasn't been one all day in this race, which is pretty unusual because we had a handful of cautions in the last 2 races here with the X and trucks running here, but this one was caution free because we have had a lot more drivers with experience in road courses, obviously, knowing left and right turns here at this 11-turn track. Just 2 laps to go here, coming to the white flag at Watkins Glen International. We'll see if Johnny Garner can hold on to win this race. No caution's going to stop him now. So here we go to the white flag with 1 to go. And Donovan Duthit going to try for that 2nd spot over the Yepes machine. Can he get him? Uphill. It looks like he will. Duthit's now up to 2nd place. But it'll take a miracle for him to catch up to the 92 of Johnny Gardner. The 92 has not been stopped all day today. It's been the best car of the race. And now he's just a few turns away from finally winning another race. And what could be his final season, we don't know. He might do another one. You never know what happens with Johnny Gardner. He might not give up until that 3rd championship is his. It might be this season, maybe a future season, but we don't know. But all we know now, Johnny Gardner is going to be winning again in his one of his farewell seasons, if not the farewell season, as Johnny Gardner comes off the final turn and he wins the Go Bowling at the Glen. The entire race was caution-free, but Johnny Gardner takes the win at Watkins Glen International. So Johnny Gardner, welcome back to the playoffs. So we'll see if that 3rd championship will be his for Johnny Gardner in season 33, and we'll see if he will go out on top. So that's it from Watkins Glen. It was a very interesting weekend here at our home track. And Johnny Garner takes the checkers here today at the Glen. So next weekend is going to be interesting. The Truck Series will be having their annual Dirt Derby at Eldora Speedway. A lot of fun always to see the trucks running in Eldora, and that's our next race coming up. And then after that, a doubleheader with the X Series and Cup Series. They'll both be running at Darlington Raceway, the track too tough to tame. And after that, All-Star Weekend for the Cup Series in Season 33. I will have the points updated after Darlington, just so you know which driver is in the All-Star race and which one the rest of the field will go in the showdown. So we'll reveal the All-Star drivers in the Season 33 Pokemon Cup Series right after the Darlington race in the Cup Series. That way we determine who's in the All-Star race. But I do know race winners are in the All-Star race automatically, and so we'll see Johnny Garner in the All-Star race again. And that, by the way, will be returning to Eldora. So I might add that the All-Star Weekend at the Cup Series will be at Eldora Speedway. But anyway, hope you'll join us for next weekend in Eldora with the trucks and Darlington with the X and Cup. And until next time, we will see you guys later.